Hey everyone, and welcome to the Elevated Life series. We're Britt and Chris Carmichael here, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And today's topic is 4 things that spiritual people practice. We're going to share 4 different concepts that the people that are finding themselves in a state of constant peace are practicing. So that's what we mean by spiritual. Someone who is in tune with that inner place of peace within them.
Yeah, we get questions all the time about like manifesting, is what we covered last week. We get talking about, how we do better in relationships, but we've been getting asked recently, how do I go on that inner journey within? How do I really, so will be the difference between when we talk about spirituality versus religion. Remember, religion is a set of doctrines, texts, and beliefs that you take on, which is really someone else's experience. And spirituality is more about tuning into your own experience and finding those answers within you. And so this is going to be super powerful if you've been looking to go inside and if you've been wanting to figure out what are those answers and what truths can I find within me.
And what is holding me back from that constant state of peace? Because it is a choice. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy choice, but it does take practice. And these 4 things that spiritual people practice are going to help you to come back to that place of center within you. So I want to know, if you're tuning in live, where are you watching from? And let us know what's going on in your world. How are you doing? It's Friday. It's springtime. The sun is coming out here in Texas, and we are just loving the fresh new start and that feeling that comes with the change of season. We've opened our back door. We've opened all the windows. We've been throwing out old things. It just feels so good. So I want to know, are you going through this state of change and spring cleaning and detoxing? This is such an awesome time to make a change in your life.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're not going to be talking about today, but we are now, a little bonus tip, if you are in some spot where you can go out and be in nature, especially during spring, get outside. Go be outside. We've been, huddled inside for the winter, and now we're finally able to go out and just embrace nature, embrace the sun, get that good vitamin D that we all need, and rekindle and remember who we really are and re-tap into that like innate part of ourselves. Get back out there in nature if you can. This weekend's the perfect time.
Love it. Well, if you live in Texas.
Sure.
Lisa says hi from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. All right, you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first thing that spiritual people practice is compassion. Compassion is basically saying, I understand that you're a human and you suffer too. Knowing that most of the projections and judgments and criticisms and anger and hatred that people are projecting onto you are because they feel that way about themselves. It's the self-judgment that leads to criticizing others. So when we have compassion for people, when they act like an asshole, or they say something mean, or they say we're not good enough or smart enough, or we're never going to go after our dreams or be good enough to achieve them, then we just know that's how they feel about themselves. And this takes a lot of detachment. This takes a lot of practice. Compassion does, because it is you saying, I know that you're suffering and that's okay, because whatever you project onto me isn't about me. And that is the practice of compassion, is knowing that other people's own suffering is a projection onto you and it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, this is so big. The next time someone personally attacks you and you start to feel those defenses raise up and you start to feel like, you feel that like anger come up, just look deeply in their eyes and see if you can notice the struggle that they're going through. See if you can notice how that's such a reflection of what they're going through in their lives. And in that moment, can you feel compassion? Can you say, I know these words aren't about me. I know that this is about you right now, and I'm here to love and support you. And if you can do that, it's going to very much deepen your connection with every single person. You're going to start to realize that everybody suffers. And through that suffering is how we are able to develop compassion for each other and empathy, and realize that like a lot of people are going through a lot of things. It's not always just sunshine and rainbows. And once you can grab onto that, you can realize that like our job really here is to love other people. It's not to demean them. It's not to judge them. It's not to do that thing. It's just to love them and love them exactly where they are.
So good. Is there someone right now that you can conjure up more compassion for? Is there someone in your life that you know is struggling and you've kind of been holding resentment towards them? Maybe you can use this moment to extend a little bit of compassion towards that person, or even to yourself. I know that compassion has a lot to do with how we treat ourselves too.
Big time.
All right, number 2, the second thing that spiritual people practice is mindfulness. And this is something that you are so excellent about sharing on, because you have been studying the mind for decades and you understand that mindset is really what helps us to shape our experience. So can you share how we can start practicing mindfulness?
All right, so mindfulness is really about awareness. It's about being aware of what your mind is doing. Just like we talked about a second ago about compassion, when you hear other people say things about you, can you be mindful enough to disengage from that part of you that says, I need to fight this, I need to struggle against this, I need to go against this person? Mindfulness is about just being there. So often we have just these automatic patterns. We do everything in the same way repeatedly and wonder why our lives don't change. If you want change in your life, you're going to have to do something a little bit differently. And mindfulness is always going to be the first step. The idea of I'm not in the present moment right now brings you to the present moment. It's one of those things that you have to start being aware of. We go blank when we drive. We go blank when we do the dishes. We go blank when we have sex with our partners. The idea is to be in there with them, experience life. All of life happens in the present moment. There really is no past and there really is no future. Everything arises as the present. So what you have to do is be deeply tuned in to what the modifications of your mind are doing. If you can wash the dishes with total awareness, you're definitely on your way. If you're figuring out that you're constantly visualizing, constantly projecting out into the future, constantly doing all these things, you're not present. So when you're with your partner and they feel like you're disengaged, they feel like you're not giving them the attention, this is why. You have to be there and notice them. What I like to use is use my senses. So all the senses are going to be in the present. So if you're looking at somebody like, hey, I love your shoes, look at those cool shoes. You're in the present moment with them. Be there with them and use that mindfulness to figure out, what am I doing right at this moment that's pulling me away, that's distracting me from all of the gifts and all the miracles that happen in this moment?
You know, I was just thinking that I like to use gratitude as an anchor to stay in the present moment, so that I look around my physical environment and even inward and say, okay, what am I grateful for right now? Like in this moment. And that draws you to the present moment. So gratitude is my sure track way to get back to the present moment. Like, what is going on right now? And when I'm working with clients, especially in person, I snapping like, hey, like here, present, because we get so caught up in our thoughts and thinking and projecting and worrying about the future that we completely lose this present moment.
Oof.
And that leads us to the third thing that spiritual people practice, and that is reflection. It goes hand in hand with mindfulness, because throughout the day we are present to the moment. When we are present, we can make conscious choices, and when we make conscious choices, we're living an aware and enlightened life, that when we look back at the end of the day with reflection, there's nothing that we would want to change, because we've shown up in a state of presence and mindfulness and awareness that you're in alignment with your highest truth. So if you were to unmindfully go through life, continue your habits, and then get to the end of the day and reflect back and say, wow, I treated myself like a jerk. I treated my coworkers like a jerk. I really should have eaten differently. Man, I made some bad choices when I, made that left turn, whatever it may be. When you reflect back on your day and there's a lot of things you want to change, it's most likely because you're not being mindful in the moment.
Yeah, reflection can be so powerful, because without it, you end up getting stuck in that pattern. You have a pattern, just like we talked about. You bathe the same way, you shower the same way, you do stuff in the same order, and it's always important to break that. I notice patterns all the time where I cross by somebody and I just want to say hi to them for a second. I say, hey, how's your day going? And they go, oh, I'm not doing much later. You're like, that didn't make sense. It's because they answered with a pattern. And so getting out of that and reflecting on, when have you used patterns in your life? What's the pattern of your relationships? What's the pattern of your work life? What's the pattern of your belief system? Start doing things a little bit differently, and you'll notice that the results are drastically different too. Just smiling more often, just being there, just saying, well, maybe I've got a frown on my face all the time. Maybe if I engage with people and say, hey, are you having a great day? I hope you are. And just smiling at them, how much that can change. But that takes a lot of awareness. That takes a lot of reflection and realizing what it is that you're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. All right, number 4. And this is the big guy. This is the big one. If you want to practice spirituality, if you want to be on that spiritual path, if you want the answers to come deep from within, this next one is the biggest reason why people stay tied to their past. And it's so sad to see, because it just anchors them there, and they can't be in the present, and they can't build a meaningful future. And that is forgiveness. And remember that forgiveness really means losing the expectation that you can have a different past. I mean, that's what the whole thing is about. It's cutting and untying that unconscious cord that we have, where we play victim and abuser, where we finally say to the people, you know what, that happened, but I can move forward, and I can move forward with love. That is something that is very difficult for most people to do. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of wanting to, because you're going to have to go over that spot where you can stay angry at the other person. You can stop blaming them for whatever is happening into your life. Forgiveness is the most powerful tool on this journey, because it's freeing. And remember, you don't do it for the other person. The forgiveness is never for the other person. That's, forgive and forget. Those are two different things. Forgiveness just means saying, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of this relationship anymore. I'm not going to be a part of this drama anymore. I'm not going to create these visuals in my head where we battle against each other, because no one ever wins. You have to begin to forgive, and the person that you always start with is yourself. You have to forgive yourself for all of any kind of mistakes or any things that you've done in the past. And once you do that, watch how your life just totally unfolds, because you're not stuck. You can spend all of your energy perfectly on the present, being with your partner, being with your loved ones, being with your kids, and you're not stuck reliving old crap.
So what painful past are you replaying in your life right now that you could offer yourself or someone else forgiveness that would give you that freedom to release, to let go, so that you can be in the present moment? Because if you're constantly harboring resentment and anger towards someone, if not yourself, someone else, then you're going to be rooted and anchored in the past, which is over. And the only way to change it is to make new choices in this present moment. So we have to go back to the past and go, okay, what can I learn from this? And when we ask ourselves that question and we get the lesson from that experience, that's when we can move on to the next step, which is forgiveness. So what lesson can you learn from those resentments and pains of the past or the traumas? And can you allow yourself the courage to forgive yourself for being in that position, or maybe not speaking up, or making those changes sooner, or whatever it may be? And can you forgive the other person? I believe we have to forgive ourselves before we can even extend that type of love and compassion and mindfulness towards someone else.
Oof. Beautiful.
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday.
I love it. The flow of energy, total acceptance. Oops. Hold on. What does this say? Forgives everything in life.
Yeah,
yes.
Beautiful.
There is always a moment to forgive. I was just saying how, these are practiced daily. And Chris goes, well, they're not necessarily daily. Like forgiveness might not be daily. I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Forgiveness is daily. I'm already forgiving some of y'all's crazy comments already. So it is a daily practice. If you want to find peace and joy along your journey, then try these 4 principles and implement them in your life. Be more compassionate towards others. Forgive them, knowing that they too suffer, and reflect on your life and practice more mindfulness if you find yourself at the end of the day reflecting and going, damn, I need to make some changes.
Yeah, and then be aware enough to make those changes. A lot of times they're simple. It's the idea of becoming aware of it. You have to become aware before you can change it at all. And that awareness is what will spark all of the change.
I want to know, which principle are you going to put into practice moving forward. We've got compassion, mindfulness, reflection, and forgiveness. Which 4 principles are you going to put more focus on over the next, let's say, month, so that you can develop more peace, more patience, and make a deeper connection with your soul, so that when shit does happen, hello, hashtag Mercury retrograde is in full effect right now. So when things do start to go haywire in your external reality, can you find it within yourself to choose peace no matter what? Mindfulness and forgiveness.
There you go.
Number 4, so forgiveness.
Yeah, that's the one.
Forgiving others, you forgive yourself. Mindfulness. Yes, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. We love hearing from you. So if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover, then shoot us a private message or leave a comment below. And if you know someone who would enjoy this high vibing message, then please tag them, share the video. Please just spread the good love and the karma. We appreciate all of your support. Susan says she's going to be working on forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness sets you free. Compassion, awesome. You guys are great. So take note of which one you're going to focus on and allow yourself to say like a quick mantra every day. I forgive myself and I forgive others, if that's what you're working on. Or I am compassionate and understanding of others, and I'm compassionate towards myself. Whatever it may be, just give yourself a quick reminder each morning, or make a little note in your phone that pops up every day just to remind you to practice these principles so that you can find more peace throughout the day. I want to respond to things as calmly as you are. You, my lad. Oh, that's so cute. Very compassionate. Oh, lady. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of your love and support. If you know someone who would love this message, let them know in the comments below or share the video. We appreciate the good vibes. We will see you guys next week for the Elevated Life series. Bye.
Bye.